Hello?
I don't know if you've been listening to what these guys have been saying about Pakistan, but
if we have actionable intelligence on Al-Qaeda operatives, including bin Laden, and President Musharraf cannot act, then we should. Now, I think that's just common sense.
It's ironic that Obama is the one advocating more aggressive action, and McCain accusing Obama of wanting to bomb an ally.
You don't broadcast and say that you're going to bomb a country without their permission or without consulting them. That's naive.
I mean, you know what? We were in Afghanistan. Everybody there seems to know that area of Pakistan is a problem. Why take it off the table? Do they understand what's going on in the war on terror? You know what this makes me want to do, Mark? It makes me want to call up Bob Shepard, get him on the phone because he's on the ground right now, and say, hey, okay, you look around and you tell me what's going on. What is Richardson saying?
If we have actionable intelligence that is real, and if Musharraf is incapable, which he is, because here's a man who has not stood up for his democracy, he is virtually losing control, then you do take that action.
He's going to have to define his position on things a little bit. He seems to just say diplomacy and...
Americans think that their mortgages are an issue. Wait until Pakistan blows up.
The bill so far for the war on terror is over $700 billion. And the Congressional Budget Office says this could exceed $2 trillion in the next 10 years.
We can stay on this and it'll take us pretty much runs parallel.
So, are the Democrats saying they're going to reconsider an investment? And if so, what does that mean? Bill Richardson thinks he knows, and what Bill Richardson says counts if Barack Obama wins the White House.
We've covered presidential elections before.
Well, not me.
And we hated it.
Hated the pundits.
Hated the horse race.
And hated the silly questions.
So we knew what we had to do.
We couldn't care about a White House press pass.
And we couldn't travel fancy.
And we had to be independent.
It had to be about getting one shot to ask one question.
But then, those questions started fitting together.
I'm Michelle Mitchell.
I'm Mark Huntley.
I'm Ed Head.
And this is Common Sense.
I guess my strong thought would be you've really got to be skeptical and careful whenever you start hearing a politician talk about what they know about Pakistan, for example, or the region, or its history, or anything about Musharraf and that government. There are no more Charlie Wilsons in Congress. Those days are gone.
Hello?
Bob, it's Michelle Mitchell.
What do you want? I've been in these areas. I've seen politicians come out and spend somewhere between 24 hours and perhaps as long as 5 or 6 days in the country. The unfortunate thing is, they think that they know everything before they go. They are, quote, learned men. I think sticking your nose in a book doesn't make you a learned man. You really have to get on the ground, and you have to meet the people on both sides of the divide and understand their requirements, and that will make you a learned man.
Well, the way this works, they go to Pakistan, they fly in. They rarely leave Islamabad. They meet the set folk that people are supposed to meet. It's usually a highly constrained set of meetings. So they fly in to Islamabad, which is actually a city which in no way represents the rest of Pakistan. Islamabad is clean, the roads are large.
They're cleared by State Department. They're handled by the ambassador in residence who control the schedule. They're cordoned off from reality.
So it's very easy for them to walk away with a very distorted view of that country and what Pakistanis think.
Then he comes back, expounds on a camera and says, I've gotten this, I've gotten that. Well, what did he get truly? What does any politician get? They get what the administration tells them. The whole thing is one big exercise in spin.
I went to Quetta as a security advisor to a Western news team, and the Western news team was keen to find out the real story of, where are these Taliban? If they're coming across a border to attack coalition forces in Afghanistan, where are they coming from? Where's the breeding grounds? Where's the training grounds? And people kept telling us, in Afghanistan, that they're coming across the border from the tribal areas, and they're centered in Quetta. So we went to Quetta. I was able to kind of pull myself away from the camera and the correspondent, who were heavily being guarded by the minder, to the point that if they went to interview somebody on the street, the minder would whisper in their ear first, so they weren't going to be saying very much. I was able to kind of cross the street, take a step back, and talk to people myself. And they were saying, "Oh, you're a Western network. You must be here for the Taliban."
Hello.
Mark, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me? If these politicians aren't getting anything beyond spin, how's that affected their focus?
In the wake of 9/11, everyone focused on what do we do. In Pakistan, we were worried about their nuclear weapons, worried about their stability in the region. Musharraf ransomed us.
This idea that the Islamist barbarians of the gate are going to run off with a nuclear weapon and bomb Israel, the United States, or India, that's just preposterous. First you have to ask one question. How would the Islamists be in a position to do this? In Pakistan, the warheads are not fully assembled. So the detonators are not kept with the core. So you have to steal multiple components. Then you have to know how to put the darn thing together. And then, of course, they're not kept mated with their delivery device. So you have to steal all of these components for the warhead and the missile, which means you have to overcome numerous layers of security.
This is sort of like a winter odyssey, you know?
We're on the Boston Coast Road. This is historic.
You sure that's 122?
Yeah, well, I guess we missed the...
It may be mid-January, but that's what we do every 4 years in New Hampshire. We come outside, we get in big groups like this because we want to see the next president of the United States. Lucky for you, you came to this one because that's exactly what you're getting.
We should ask him about Pakistan and his plan.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to push him on some specifics.
This is perfect. Got it.
You want me to say Mark Huntley from 11.tv or anything? Or?
No, I just asked the question. He says, "Who are you?" You can say
Dr. Bill Richardson, the next president of the United States. And now it is my
Are you ready to take our country back? I want America to become green. We need to make sure that we end junk food in schools early. Am I going to lose your vote? We need also to ask Musharraf in Pakistan to step aside and have free and fair elections. It's important that America stand for our principles.
Governor, I've got a question about your Pakistan policy. What would the U.S. role in Pakistan be? Outside?
Yeah.
Very good. I am.
Where are you from?
From film11.tv.
I talked to your guy earlier. I said we weren't doing it in the Vale. He's not taking any questions right now.
He actually said he would answer my question.
He's not going to take it right now.
Earlier. Okay, when is he going to take them?
After he talks to these voters.
Okay, after he jumps in the van, or
after he talks to the voters. All right.
Okay, but is there press availability?
No.
I'm trying to figure that out.
No.
So what? You're telling me that he'll take the question later, but that there's no time for press questions.
Just not right now. How much clearer can I be?
So you're saying get the hell away from him?
Let him talk to these guys.
But when can I ask him?
As soon as he's done shaking all of these hands.
And will there be a press availability?
I'll give you one question on the car, okay?
Terrific. Thank you very much.
You know what? What drives me nuts is that I would love to see you guys do this like to Clinton or.
We tried to do it to Clinton. I'm trying to ask questions. It's part of the democratic process, don't you think? So it's a little frustrating from our side because we're just trying to ask questions of candidates.